Have you ever looked at a blank wall on your balcony or patio and wished you could cover it with green, living beauty? What if I told you that you can create a stunning vertical garden using just pots and fast-growing plants? You don't need expensive living wall systems or complicated installations. With the right plants and simple containers, you can transform a bare wall or fence into a lush, green backdrop in just weeks. Today on No Secrets Gardening, we're exploring 5 plants that grow fast enough to create what I call a living wall in containers. These are climbers, trailers, and vigorous growers that will fill vertical space quickly and beautifully. If you're ready to add dramatic green impact to your small space, hit that subscribe button now. We're about to discover how easy it is to grow upward when you don't have room to grow outward. Let's meet these 5 fast-growing plants that will change the way you think about vertical gardening. What makes a good living wall plant? Before we dive in, let's talk about what we need for successful vertical container gardening. First, the plant should be a natural climber or trailer. This means it either grows upward using tendrils or vines, or cascades downward in a flowing manner. Second, it needs to grow quickly. We want noticeable progress within weeks, not months. Fast growth means fast coverage. Third, it should be forgiving. These plants should tolerate container life and forgive occasional watering mistakes. And finally, it should work with simple support. We're not building elaborate structures, just using basic trellises, strings, or stakes that lean against walls. Number 1. Sweet potato vine. The colorful cascader. Sweet potato vine is not the vegetable you eat. It's an ornamental version grown purely for its stunning foliage. The leaves come in lime green, deep purple, or variegated patterns, and the vines grow astonishingly fast. Why it creates a living wall? Sweet potato vine can grow several feet in just a few weeks. It's primarily a trailer, meaning it cascades downward, but you can also train it upward on a trellis or let it spill from hanging baskets mounted against a wall. The foliage is dense and lush, creating excellent coverage. One plant can spread 3 to 4 feet wide, so 2 or 3 containers can cover a substantial wall section. How to grow it? Use pots at least 10 to 12 inches wide with good drainage. Fill with regular potting soil. Plant your sweet potato vine and place containers where they get full sun to partial shade. Water when the top inch of soil feels dry. Sweet potato vine tolerates some drought, but grows fastest with consistent moisture. If you want upward growth, provide a trellis or strings for the vines to climb. For a cascading effect, mount containers on wall brackets or high shelves. Quick tip: sweet potato vine is an annual in most climates, but it grows so vigorously that you'll get a full season of dramatic coverage. You can also take cuttings in fall and root them in water to start new plants for next year. Number 2. Morning Glory. The classic climber. Morning Glories are old-fashioned annual vines with heart-shaped leaves and trumpet-shaped flowers in blue, purple, pink, or white. They're called morning glories because the flowers open with the sunrise and close by afternoon. Why it creates a living wall. Morning glories are among the fastest-growing vines you can plant. From seed, they can reach 6 to 10 feet in a single season. They climb naturally using twining stems that wrap around any support. The coverage is dense, with leaves overlapping to create a solid green wall punctuated by colorful blooms. How to grow it? Use pots at least 8 to 10 inches deep. Morning glories develop taproots, so depth matters more than width. Plant seeds directly in the pot after the last frost date, or start them indoors a few weeks earlier. Soak seeds in warm water overnight before planting. This softens the hard seed coat and speeds germination. Provide a trellis, string, or wire support against your wall. Morning glories will climb immediately once they sprout. Place containers in full sun. Morning glories need at least 6 hours of direct sunlight to bloom well. Water regularly, keeping soil evenly moist. Gardening fact. Morning glory seeds are easy to collect at the end of the season. The flowers form seed pods that dry and split open. Save these seeds for next year's planting. Number 3. Clematis. The flowering showstopper. Clematis is a perennial flowering vine that comes back year after year. It produces spectacular blooms in purple, pink, white, red, or bicolors, depending on the variety. Why it creates a living wall. While not quite as fast as morning glories, clematis grows vigorously once established. It can reach 6 to 12 feet in a season, depending on the variety. The flowers are large and showy, turning your wall into a stunning floral display. Clematis climbs by, wrapping its leaf stems around supports, so it naturally attaches to trellises or wires. How to grow it? Use a large pot, at least 16 to 18 inches wide and equally deep. Clematis has extensive roots and needs room. Plant clematis deeply. Bury the crown about 3 to 4 inches below the soil surface. This encourages strong root development and protects the plant if the top dies back. Provide a sturdy trellis or support system. Clematis vines can become heavy when mature. Place the pot where the base stays shaded, but the top can reach into sunlight. Gardeners say clematis likes feet in the shade, head in the sun. You can achieve this by placing mulch on the soil surface or positioning other containers nearby to shade the pot. Water consistently, especially during the first year as the plant establishes. Quick tip: clematis comes in 3 pruning groups depending on when it blooms. When you buy a plant, ask which group it belongs to, so you know how to care for it properly. Number 4. Black-eyed Susan vine, the cheerful trailer. Black-eyed Susan vine, Thunbergia, produces masses of small flowers with dark centers, typically in orange, yellow, or white. It's a cheerful, carefree plant that grows quickly and blooms prolifically. Why it creates a living wall. This vine grows quickly and densely, covering trellises or cascading from high containers in just weeks. The flowers bloom continuously from summer until frost, providing constant color. Black-eyed Susan vine is both a climber and a trailer, so you can use it in multiple ways, upward on supports or downward in hanging baskets. How to grow it? Use pots 8 to 10 inches wide, with good drainage. Plant in regular potting soil and place in full sun to partial shade. Provide a trellis for climbing, or mount the container on a wall bracket for trailing. The plant will find its way quickly. Water regularly, keeping soil evenly moist, but not soggy. Black-eyed Susan vine blooms best with consistent moisture. Deadhead spent flowers occasionally to encourage more blooms, though this plant flowers so freely that it's not strictly necessary. Gardening fact. Black-eyed Susan vine is technically a perennial in tropical climates, but most gardeners treat it as an annual. It grows so fast that it provides full coverage in a single season. If you're imagining your own vertical garden right now, do me a favor and hit that like button. And I'd love to know, what wall or fence are you planning to cover? Do you prefer trailing plants or climbing vines? Drop a comment and share your vision. Your ideas might inspire someone else watching. Now, let's talk about our final fast-growing plant for living walls. Number 5. Ivy, the evergreen workhorse. English ivy is the classic climbing plant, with its distinctive lobed leaves and vigorous growth. It's evergreen in most climates, meaning your living wall stays green year-round. Why it creates a living wall. Ivy is perhaps the most reliable plant for covering walls. It climbs using aerial roots that cling to rough surfaces, or you can train it on trellises. It grows quickly, tolerates shade better than most plants, and stays green through winter. Ivy is also forgiving of neglect, making it ideal for gardeners who want low-maintenance coverage. How to grow it? Use pots at least 10 to 12 inches wide. Ivy isn't picky about soil. Regular potting mix works fine. Ivy tolerates a wide range of light conditions, from full sun to deep shade, though it grows fastest in bright indirect light. Provide a trellis, wire support, or rough textured wall surface for ivy to climb. It will attach itself naturally with aerial roots. Water when the top inch of soil feels dry. Ivy tolerates some drought once established, but grows more vigorously with regular watering. Important note, ivy is considered invasive in some regions because it spreads aggressively outdoors. When growing it in containers, you have complete control. But be aware that if you plant it directly in the ground near structures, it can become difficult to manage. Quick tip. There are many ivy varieties beyond English ivy: Persian ivy, Algerian ivy, and variegated types with white or yellow markings. Choose the variety that best suits your aesthetic preferences. Creating your living wall. Practical tips. Now that we've met our 5 plants, let's talk about how to actually create your living wall. Support systems. The simplest approach is leaning a wooden or metal trellis against your wall and placing potted vines at the base. You can also string wire or twine vertically and let vines climb these supports. For trailing plants, mount sturdy brackets on the wall and place containers on them. Container placement. Space containers, 12 to 18 inches apart for coverage. As plants grow, they'll merge together to create a continuous green wall. Watering considerations. Containers against walls often get less rain than freestanding pots because the wall blocks precipitation. Check soil moisture regularly and water consistently. Weight matters. If mounting containers on walls, ensure brackets are securely fastened and can support the weight of soil, water, and plants. A wet 12-inch pot can weigh 20 to 30 pounds. Mix textures and colors. Combine different plants for visual interest. Pair purple sweet potato vine with lime green varieties, or interplant flowering vines like clematis with ivy for year-round green, punctuated by seasonal blooms. Training young vines. When plants are young, gently guide stems toward supports and loosely tie them if needed. Once established, most will climb or cascade on their own. Feeding. Fast-growing vines are hungry. Feed container-grown vines every 2 to 3 weeks during the growing season with diluted liquid fertilizer to support their rapid growth. 5 plants that transform blank walls into living beauty. Sweet potato vine for colorful cascades. Morning glory for rapid climbing. Clematis for flowering drama. Black-eyed Susan vine for cheerful coverage. And ivy for evergreen reliability. Vertical gardening is the secret to making small spaces feel abundant. When you grow upward instead of outward, you multiply your growing space without using more floor area. A wall that once felt confining becomes a living, breathing backdrop that changes with the seasons. These plants grow quickly, which means you don't wait years for results. Within weeks, you'll see progress. Within months, you'll have coverage that makes your space feel like a garden sanctuary. Which of these 5 plants speaks to you? Do you have a wall or fence just waiting for green transformation? Tell us in the comments what you're planning to try. And if vertical gardening excites you as much as it excites me, please subscribe to No Secrets Gardening. We're here to help you grow in whatever space you have. Thank you for your time today. Grow calmly, and I'll see you in the next video. Happy gardening!